Yeah. You know what it is? Another episode, another classic episode of the Miller Experience Overtime. Hey guys, I just want to thank you guys for subscribing to the channel. Currently, we're at 915 subscribers. Y'all know what the goal is, trying to get to a G. So let's make that happen. All right. We're here with my co-hosts Victor and Craig, and we have a special guest, ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce you guys to her. Today, we're excited to welcome our guest who recently graduated from South Carolina State University, December 2024. Congratulations in accounting as she prepares to begin her full-time role as a financial analyst at Microsoft. She has gained valuable professional experience with notable organizations such as Universal Music Group, dope, Greystar, Red Bull, which I love, and Boeing, where she has showcased her expertise and leadership skills beyond her career achievements. She also served in several foundations such as South Carolina State's Royal Court and volunteered with James E. Clyburn Foundation. She had also worked diligently to build an extensive net professional through school and community. My guest reflects on her dedication and resilience as she hopes to encourage others to approach their futures with intention, taking proactive steps toward building the lives they aspire. Just like our guest last year, she does it all. Seem like she play Madden, she do your taxes, she'll help you with your finances, she'll walk your dog, she'll do it all. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome my guest, Alexandrea Moore, aka Bryce. What's up?
Hello. Hi, everyone. That was a great introduction. Thank you so much.
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm well. I'm happy to be here. Thank you all for having me. I'm ready to jump right in.
What's up? Craig, I'm gonna let you lead, bro.
So Bryce, you know, um, obviously I wanted to put out there that you're my niece,
Mhm.
and you're amazing, first and
Thank you.
foremost. But tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, so forth.
Well, originally I'm from Spartanburg, South Carolina. I grew up in a lower income area in Spartanburg. Same old story, kind of grew up in the hood, grew up in less fortunate circumstances. My parents had to make a way. I was born to a teen mother and a very young father. My father went away when I was very young. And as I grew up, my mother just, I watched my mother chase her dreams and build a life for us that was more stable and a life for us that was more financially free, of course,
Mhm.
and really set me up for success. And I think that that was a lot of my inspiration for doing the things that I do now. Um, I graduated high school in 2019 and came right to SC State. Fell right into the COVID pandemic in my second semester of my freshman year. Went home, took a break from school, came back, and finished it out. Did some extracurricular activities, made lots of friends, and yeah.
Okay, so in hearing that, I mean, I believe I know the answer, but what drives you?
Well, my driving force is really the idea of creating generational wealth for my children. So, coming from a low income background, I don't have parents who are very well off, who are very wealthy. I am someone who wants to build that wealth and wants to put my children in a place where they're able to succeed and to achieve even higher levels of success than I have. So that's my driving force. Just wanting to build that legacy and have something for my children when once they are here.
So in hearing that, I would say accounting. Is that the reason you chose accounting, or did accounting choose you?
Well, really, accounting chose me, but honestly, Spartanburg High School chose accounting for me. Um, so in high school, we had to choose between two business classes. We either had to take a finance accounting class or we had to take a business administration class. I've always been a huge fan of math. Always been a math nerd my entire life, and so it was kind of an easy choice to choose between accounting and business administration. And when I got into the class, I just really enjoyed kind of the layout and the formulaic part of accounting and how it makes so much sense. The entire accounting process. And going into school, I actually started off as an economics major. I'm into politics. I'm into current events and things like that. But my school didn't offer an extensive economics program, so I switched over because I was familiar with accounting. I'm good with numbers and I'm good with formulas, so it just kind of fit right into my personality very easily, kind of seamlessly.
And so that's what helped you roll into, as far as the economic side and politics, that helped you to roll into the foundation of James E. Clyburn. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm someone who prioritizes volunteer opportunities and public service. And with Jim Clyburn being a loyal son of South Carolina State, it was much easier to get into that realm and to just be around so much Black excellence. And it was just inspiring, you know. So when I came across the opportunity to participate in his Kanzader tournament that he hosts every year, the annual one in Santee. It was an easy yes for me. You know, I was like,
Mhm.
wow, you know, these are the types of people that I aspire to be, you know.
Mhm.
So what better opportunity?
Absolutely. Ernest, you got anything?
Yeah, accounting. Whew. You said it chose you, man. You had to be great in math to pick accounting. Is that your original major when you went to school, or do you have something else? Because the reason why I asked, I went to Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona. And when I went to school, my major originally was education. I wanted to be a teacher. So my grandmother was like, all right, my grandmother owned a daycare center. So my grandma was like, okay, it's something you really want to do. I want you to work with these kids, be a teacher with these kids for the whole summer. Like, all right, bet. Cool. Ain't no bunch of 4-year-olds, 55-year-olds. Man, them kids kicked my butt. When I went back to school, I changed my major to sports communication. I said, I can't be no teacher. So I'm asking you, was there something else you wanted to do before you chose accounting as a major, or that was your goal straight out of high school?
I did. I actually I wanted to be an economist. So when I
Okay.
came into school, I was an economics major. However, our economics program at my university, South Carolina State, it's honestly it's not the best. It's not very well structured. And accounting has a lot more opportunities, a lot more structure, and a lot more support. So I wanted to go somewhere where I would be able to access opportunities with the most ease and to elevate myself with the most ease and the most support. Economics though, I love econ. I still love econ. I took lots of econ classes on the side. But one thing that really kind of because midway through I was like, okay, well I've done my internships. I've put the work in. I have a good resume. I want to do econ. I'm gonna do econ. And I went to go talk to my econ advisor actually. And he told me that, well, as far as economics, you begin with a higher pay grade. You begin with a higher pay grade. However, there isn't as much room for upward mobility.
Mm,
However, with accounting, though you may start off with a lower pay, you're constantly increasing. You're
yeah,
constantly increasing throughout time. So that was also a big factor to me. You know, if it ain't
yeah,
about the
yeah,
money, then
yeah, yeah.
then what else
And
is it
money
about?
always motivates.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as an accounting major, I can still do the things that I love as far as econ, which kind of bridges my gap as a financial analyst. So I'm making projections and I'm doing this data analysis, but just in the finance realm, what rather than a public service realm.
So you also work with some major companies such as University Music Group. I don't think a lot of people realize who has artists Drake, Billie Eilish, Taylor Swift. What's the girl name? Adriana Grande. My daughter love her. Greystar, Red Bull. How was it like working with those companies?
Well,
And
okay.
what did you learn working with them?
Well, let's start off with UMG. So UMG was my very first internship. And I'm gonna be completely honest and cut here. I was a terrible intern. I was horrible. It was right after COVID. The
Mhm.
entire internship was remote, and it was
Mhm.
my very first internship, and it was an
Uh,
audit. I didn't know what I was doing at all.
yeah,
So I kind of spent that summer, you know, not really handling business the way that I would be proud of today.
gotcha.
But it built a foundation for me and it gave me, you know, some meat on my resume.
Yeah.
Um, Working at UMG was very interesting. I got to interact with some celebrities. I got to create a rollout plan for Coil Ray's album.
Okay.
And I also got to see how much these artists actually make from their songs, you know. So that was very interesting. Just having access to that type of data and being able to see how things function in the real world. Um, moving forward, my next internship was with Greystar, I believe. And that was very cool. So one of my side passions is actually community development. So being able to work with Greystar and being able to see that real estate process as far as acquisition and evaluating properties as far as their value and things that we can do to incorporate these things and make these communities livable and more conducive to positive results. Um, that was very interesting and honestly a very useful tool for things that I would like to do in the future. So I would say that that was one of my favorite internships. After that, I worked with Boeing. No offense on Craig, I did not like it. I did not like it.
Hey, you never know. You
I
might
was
have
in
to circle
supply
back
chain.
around.
I'm sorry.
You don't know. You might have to circle back around. You better.
Oh, I'll circle back around after Microsoft because they're gonna be paying me top dollar.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
I was in supply chain at Boeing. That's my only thing. That's a little outside of my area of expertise. So
Gotcha.
it was definitely a learning curve, and it made the experience a little more challenging. All of those things though led me to be able to land my internship at Microsoft, which is the creme de la creme of my career, as far as experiences go. Um, that was a great process. I ended up getting a full-time offer, which I'll be starting in March. So that was a great experience. I loved working for all of these companies. I was very intentional with the companies that I chose to work for in my career because I wanted to have all of these top companies. As you know, UMG is the largest parent group in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Greystar, which is the largest real estate company, and then we have Boeing, you know, and so on and so forth.
Oh,
So
don't
I
skip
was
over
very
that.
intentional.
Very big company.
What about Red Bull?
Oh, Red Bull as well. Okay, yeah, Red Bull was actually my most recent internship. I did Red Bull after I came back from Microsoft. I was a marketeer, so my job was basically to go out and give people free Red Bull and say, "Hey, drink this Red Bull, try this new flavor," things like that. I loved it. Gave me a little codependence on Red Bull for a while, but it was all worth it in the end. It was fun. It was
Yeah.
fun. It was a great experience. I got to that was my first time actually being able to lead my own projects as far as how I wanted to navigate them, what my goals were. I got to set my own expectations in that internship, and I think that's a very valuable experience to have because when you're an intern, it's more like you're assigned this thing and you use your brain power to come up with a solution for your
Mhm.
assignment. However, with Red Bull, it was like, okay, I can choose to go out here and put my Red Bulls into a party setting, or I can go business to business and ask these people, okay, do you have partnership with Red Bull? Would you be interested in partnership with Red Bull? Or I can go to work sites or whatever, and I had a lot more freedom of creativity. And I think that was very valuable experience, and it made it a lot more fun and lighthearted.
Even though you just graduated, what would you tell a young person that's behind you that's thinking about choosing a career in accounting? What would you tell them, to be prepared for, to look out for, how to get to the place that you're at right now?
I would say be ready because it's hard.
Mhm.
But I would say if you enjoy it, it's not so bad. If you actually enjoy what you're doing, you won't feel like it's as heavy. Because I will say that accounting is one of those professions that make you lose your hair. You
I agree
know,
with that. Mhm.
so, right. It just is, and that's just the nature of the business. But for me, someone who enjoys math and enjoys the process of evaluating these equations and putting these real life scenarios into mathematic formula, it's interesting and it's stimulating. Um, I would say accounting is a very easy degree to go out and make opportunities for yourselves. Accounting is something that is everywhere. Everywhere needs a finance position. So And not only that, but when you are an accounting major, it looks good on your resume because people know that accounting is hard. People know that accounting is a challenging subject. So just by you choosing that, it gives you a promise of um, dedication, a promise of resilience and hard work, and work ethic, because you have to have that in that field. So I would say, if you're coming into accounting and this is your first year, I would say buckle up because it's a ride. I would say make sure that you stay on top of your curriculum, because as an accounting student, your ultimate goal should be to acquire your CPA certification. And if you would like to qualify for that, there are certain classes that you have to take. You have to have these certain courses, and you have to have a certain amount of them in a certain amount of hours. If you can, I would say honestly, take as many courses as you can while you're in undergrad, because typically you'll have to go to a graduate studies to have the amount of credits that you need to get your CPA certification. So keep that in mind. Talk to your advisor about those things, and talk to them about your goals and your timeline.
Like I said, you're a beast. You're great at math, man. I was excellent until high school and geometry hit. And I was like, you know what?
Yeah, when they start putting letters with it, I was
Yeah, those formulas and everything. I was like, you know what? As long as I can count my money, I'm cool.
Yeah, they start putting letters, and I start rubbing my hands together.
I did accounting at Voorhees.
Yeah.
Oh,
01, 02, kind of 02, kind of, yeah, I did those. But let me ask you, and this is something I talked to Ernest about, as well as Victor. Have you on? You hear about the internships, but you know that so many kids in college, they don't know how to, or how to navigate, or they don't envision it being good for them.
Mhm.
But my thought is internships are, the breadwinner.
right.
It's where you get your feet wet.
Mhm.
It's where you build your foundation. So if you can you tell how you came about getting these internships? What the process was? So if there's any kids out there listening and want to know how to do this, and you can give them a blueprint, so to speak.
Absolutely. So I would say that my experience is a little bit different because I go to an HBCU, and there are opportunities that are specifically catered towards HBCU students. I'm not sure if I would have been able to break into my environment as easily at a PWI, but so I can't really speak on it. But as far as an HBCU, I came in immediately my freshman year, and I began going to leadership seminars. The first thing that I started off with, the very first opportunity that I had that opened the door to all of these great things for me, was actually Boeing immersion. I don't know if you're familiar with that, great, but Boeing immersion program. It's basically a few-day program where Boeing brings out students, and you get to kind of see the work processes throughout the day, process of operations, and those things and whatnot. That opportunity was actually provided by Thurgood Marshall. If you're an HBCU student, I would say make sure that you definitely utilize Thurgood Marshall College Fund as well as UNCF, because Thurgood Marshall is not offered to all HBCUs, and the HBCUs that are not covered by Thurgood Marshall are covered by UNCF, and there is some overlap there. So those are two great programs that are specifically tailored to giving Black students and students of color these access to these opportunities, and having those things. So UMG, Boeing immersion is the first thing I did, and then directly after that was UMG. UMG was actually also provided to me by Thurgood Marshall. I signed up for their newsletter. They sent out these things, and it's quick. It's quick. So make sure you're proactive about jumping on these opportunities when you see them, because they'll send them out, and next thing you know, they got 500 applications because it's done went out to all the HBCUs. So be proactive about these things. Get on their newsletter. Talk to people. I went to events, and I made sure that I introduced myself. I walked with my shoulders back and my head held high, and I walk
Yeah.
up to people and I say, hello, my name is Alexandrea. I'm a student, and I would like to take advantage of this opportunity, to let you know my person, and get my foot in the door. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would say definitely approach these things with a confidence and a certainty. Go and be assertive. Talk to people. Don't be shy. Most people that are here, if they at your school and they're saying, hey, I have this opportunity, they're here to help you because they were probably in the same position. And people,
Yeah.
honestly, I feel like a lot of students these days, we get into this idea of, oh, I don't want to do this internship. They're not paying me my worth. You're not paying me a livable wage. You're a student, you know, you
Yeah.
probably gonna be getting paid the same amount. For me, I started off at UMG. I think I was getting paid maybe $14. You know, I
Mm.
wouldn't get that at working at Pop John's over the summer. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. I
so
agree.
so with me doing that, not only did I make a little money, but I got a big name company on my resume that let other companies know, like, oh yeah, she's no joke.
That's the key.
So I would
That's the
say
key.
stay humble. Stay
Yeah.
humble and leave yourself open to these things.
Vic, you
No.
have anything?
Uh, yeah. So you talked about you started in economics and moved to accounting. What's I guess what's the difference between an economist and an accountant? Like, they sound like very similar job. They deal with very similar things data wise.
Well, okay, so as far as economics mostly goes into forecasting and projecting things, projecting how things in our market, how things in our economy, obviously, how things just in our day-to-day basic lives affect the prices around us, affect the way that pricing trends and popularity trends as far as consumerism go out into this world. As far as accounting, we're taking that data. Okay, so say an economist says over the next 6 months the price of milk will increase 1%. you know an accountant's job is to say, okay, well, if we increase our price 1%, how will that affect how much milk we sell? you know how will that affect what milk we sell? And an economist's job would say, well, if the price of milk increases 1%, how would that affect how many people can afford to pay their rent? Type deal. So I would say it's more of a broader scale as far as economics. The main goal of accounting is to generate profit, whereas economics is more so to understand how this profit has come about. If that makes sense. If I'm being clear.
Yeah, it makes sense. And Ernest, to my other question about Universal Music Group.
Mhm.
So I'm going to try to shift to something else here, try to bring it home since I'm the last one asking questions here. I'm sure someone financially educated, you would probably come across on the internet these financial gurus
Mhm.
they act like they're dropping facts,
Mhm.
but someone like you would know that this is done. What goes through your mind when you hear like the dumbest financial advice in the world, spread it off as if it's the smartest financial advice in the world?
And call names too, so people ignore these people.
Him 500. Jay Morrison.
Mm.
That's what I can think about right now. But any others, if you want to shout them out too, we'll put the names out there.
Well, honestly, I don't really pay attention to those things. As someone who is into finance themselves, I take my own advice and I let them do what they do. But I do see a lot of misinformation and things like that on Facebook and social media and all of those things. And honestly, my first thought is always, oh Lord, y'all gonna be broke forever. you know. And also just that, in the Black community there's already a financial literacy crisis, and you ain't doing nothing but increasing the gap.
Exactly.
You're not doing nothing but giving them misinformation to people who have nobody else to tell them that this is right or this is wrong. So I think that that's a disservice to our community, honestly. But I don't have too many opinions on that because I kind of let it go in one ear and out the other. As far as me, I manage my money the way that makes sense to me, and I think that a lot of people should practice that. But I feel like that's kind of loaded. That's a little tricky because somebody might feel like the way that makes sense to me is to spend $600 at the club last night and my rent due next week. Because
Yeah.
I'll quote unquote figure it out. So I honestly, I don't have too much opinion on the social media financial people. I try not to get to arguing with them online. So I just ignore.
I, I do have one more question, then we're going to
Uh-huh.
play a game. My last question before we get to the game. I'm big into. I don't never look into the now. Whatever I'm doing something, always look into the future. Always look 5 or 10 years ahead. So my question to you: what's your 10-year goal?
10-year goal. By that time I'll be about 33 years old. So for the
I ain't
next
asking your
5
age
years.
now.
Oh, I'm just I'm just
Yeah.
thinking out loud. I'm just
I'm
thinking out loud.
messing with you. I'm
But
messing with you.
for the next 5 years, I plan to stay at Microsoft. The goal is to, move upward as quickly as possible. I'm someone who makes valuable connections. I like to go straight to the top and say, "Hey, let's be cool. We friends. We homies." So, so my goal for the next 10 years, for the next 5 years, I want to just move up as far as possible, and then I want to actually return to South Carolina and become a public servant and start my public service journey.
Oh,
I want to save my money. I'm very comfortable living beneath my means, coming from a low income background. So I want to save as much money as I can, and I want to bring back programs to the lower part of South Carolina and bring opportunities here. So that's my goal, and start my platform and my public standing. So in the next 10 years, you'll see me in the newspaper because I started a program that helps to stimulate the economy of Orangeburg. So.
oh, that's
Ernest, real quick, we when we went to dinner,
Uh-huh.
mhm.
Bryce, you, myself, Brittany, and Charity,
Mhm.
we actually talked about that, and you talked about coming back and doing something as it relates to community development.
Right. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, I still hear you, and I'm still proud of you when I hear that,
Thank
because
you.
a lot of people don't like giving back. They feel like once they've gotten there, I've achieved what I've achieved. Y'all figure it out. So
Absolutely. But as a
Yeah,
loyal daughter of South Carolina State, I feel that it is my duty, as someone who is going to be part of the higher earner side of the black community. I feel like it is my duty as a public servant and as someone who loves their university to come back and make it a better environment for the students that come after me. I wish that there were some of the things that are coming to Orangeburg and that are here now when I was a younger student, because it would have changed my experience. And not only that, it would have inspired other students to be more inclined to come out to Orangeburg and come out to South Carolina State. Just going around and talking to different business owners and things like that. A lot of these problems are fixable, but a lot of these problems are backed by greed, which is something that happens in all small local governments or
yeah,
governments in general, to be clear.
yeah.
But I would like to go back and really be someone who is of moral integrity and be able to say, hey, I'm going to take my money and whatever support that I can get and actually do something worthwhile and do something that is long lasting and that can create some stability for the black people, student or not, in Orangeburg and in the lower part of South Carolina as a whole.
We're gonna play a game called Rapid Fire. I'm asking a series of questions. I'm sorry. I'm asking a series of questions and just answer as best as possible, okay?
Okay.
So psychology states that, man, we keep calling me. Psychology states that there's only two emotions, being love or fear. Which one you rather be?
Love.
What's your biggest fear?
Um, Losing children.
What's your best piece of advice? What's the best piece of advice you ever received?
What's my best piece of advice I ever received? Your reputation and your public image is the biggest extension of you. The negatives you do will always overshadow the positive that you do. So make sure that you walk in light.
What's the worst piece of advice?
What's the worst piece of advice? Hmm. Your class ain't till 10 a.m. Come on, let's go out. We can still make the bar.
Been there, been there, been there. Going to the movies or streaming?
Streaming.
Oh, come on, man. You know.
Obviously, we in a
Employee or
movie.
employer?
Employee.
Top 5 albums.
Top 5 albums. To Pimp a Butterfly. Lottery by Kali Uchis. Blonde by Frank Ocean.
Okay.
Let me think. Fight or Flight by G Herbo.
Okay.
Institution by Kodak Black.
Okay. Cowboys or Rams?
Go Rams!
Please, take that back. Hey, Vic, this is being recorded.
Yes, yes.
Take that out.
All right, when it's all said and done, how would you like for the world to remember Alexandrea Moore?
I would like to the world to remember me as someone who is full of love, someone who always is looking to help and to support, someone who is confident, someone who has moral integrity, someone who has left and made a difference in this world. You know, someone who has come and brought light to everywhere that she has been.
No. Indeed. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. Can I call you Bryce? I feel like we family now. Can I call you Bryce? All right, bet. I appreciate you coming on the show, Bryce. How can anybody get in contact with you? They need any type of financial help, advice. How can they get in contact with you?
You can message me on Instagram at Alexandrea Bryce. That's AlexandreaBrice. Or you can message me on Facebook at Alexandrea Bryce Moore, which is all my business. But you know, please come if you have questions. If you would like advice on internships, if you would like advice on where to send your children, send them to South Carolina State. You know, tell them to hit me up. So yeah, so send them to SC State, Big Bulldogs.
Hey man, we really appreciate you, man. Like your uncle said, we are proud of you. Keep doing amazing work. Hopefully we can do another interview just to see how your progress is going. And just good luck out there. You're gonna do well. You're gonna do well. We're super proud of you.
Thank you all so much for having me. I enjoyed it. This was a lovely experience.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, don't forget. Go ahead, Craig.
Thank you, Nisi. And if you choose the Ram over Cowboys again, when we go out to eat again, it's gonna be Dutch.
I know she's smart. She made a smart decision. She picked a team that's in the playoffs.
I don't know. I had to flip a coin on that. I don't even know.
Your uncle can't even say play or offs, and he can't say foot or ball because they watching the game.
The Rams going to the Super Bowl.
I ain't know about all that. I don't know about that. But you picked the right team. But hey guys, thank you for liking and subscribing to the channel. Beat it up in the comments, share, tell your friends about it. See you guys on the next episode. Peace.
Peace.
Love you.